The markets are crashing, everyone's freaking out, mainstream media is panicking, and it seems people are losing money left and right. But this month I just made a little over 11% with markets down. Now, anyone that watches my content regularly will know that I have a narrative of I never go short on the stock indexes. So that's the German 40 or the DAX, the NASDAQ, the FTSE, US 30 or Dow Jones, S&P, etc. I will never go short, but there is an exception. So in situations like the GFC, obviously I wasn't trading back then, COVID, like now, whenever there is a core catalyst for these markets to go down and it's essentially a no-brainer, I will do it. But there is a caveat. I don't implement my normal strategy. So I'm not sat here drawing fibs saying, oh, the market's crashing. Is it going to pull back 50%? That's how I normally trade. I'm looking for pullbacks. I don't care in these markets. I'm not looking for that. I mean, look at the volume and look at the momentum to the downside. It's insane. So it's not a case of I'm sat here trying to super analyze and say, okay, Trump said this. I'm gonna look for a break of structure here. I'm gonna look for this bearish and go. No, fuck that. Just go short. Or that's what I've been doing, is just going short. So I'm not on the 4 hour, not on the daily. I'm sat here on the 15 minutes, the 5 minutes, selling any pullback there is. And again, this isn't H4 pullbacks or anything like that. I'm just looking for these 5-minute moves here. I'm saying, okay, we've just moved up slightly. I'm going to sell. I'm not using a stop loss. And again, that might sound risky to newer traders, but in the current market environment, there is no supporting factor right now. These markets are falling and I would expect them to continue falling. So again, I'm not looking to hold trades for very long. So I'm looking to just capitalize on the next downside. And again, I'm not using a stop loss, so ignore that. So I'm just looking to say, okay, market's come up a little bit. I'm just going to take a few pips here, a few pips there. I'm just going to catch the next downside and then I'm out and I'll do the same thing again. And that's all I'm doing. I'm not trading the currency pairs. Well, sorry, I did have a few trades on the euro dollar. Some losses, some wins. That was a bit of a mess, but that's by the by. But yeah, the trades on the DAX have been particularly very nice. The US 30, sorry, not US 30, the S&P 500. It's been free money. And what I want to say is there is no reason for you to struggle in these markets. This is the same thing, just like on, let's go back to the H4 here. Just like you would essentially always want to be buying the S&P long term or even short term, let's just zoom in and say, okay, we had a pullback, I'm going to buy here. Even if there's not necessarily an overwhelming reason to go long, that is the general rule for these assets. You want to generally look to go long. Whereas here, that's flipped. We now want to be going short. So why wouldn't you? Why are you sat here still trying to buy the S&P for short-term trades? Again, I want to reiterate, I've been saying this quite a lot recently. These markets are now primed for long-term positioning, and that's not financial advice. It's just my view, is what I'm doing. I'm investing in the S&P every 3-4 days, just so I can keep adding in at low prices and accumulate while the market's dropping. It's perfect. This is great stuff. I love these markets right now because everyone's panicking. I'm just stockpiling. I'm just adding more and more and more, and I'm just scalping down. So I am technically long-term losing money on my investments, but that's fine because I'm making that money back by short-term scalps. And then when I stop scalping, I will expect the market to come back up, and then I'll capitalize on my long-term investments. So it's just the perfect combination. This is a great way to make money. Now, again, I'm not saying that this is the easiest thing, but because I've been in the markets for many years at this point, I understand that this isn't something that's just going to quickly get fixed. I do really see this as a major problem for the stock market. I do think we are going to continue to see lower prices. So I'm quite happy continue shorting. The only thing I'm just going to mention with the S&P, I've got my eye on one level, I guess 2 levels. Now we've got a support here. Now, I put a tweet out actually earlier saying that I'm not in favor of using technicals right now because the market isn't in a position fundamentally to be respecting technicals. It's just a bloodbath right now. So I'm not really too bothered, but it's worth paying attention to anyway, just in case. So we've got a really strong support level around here at 5,000. Then after that, we are coming into this 200 weekly moving average. Now, again, as I said, I'm not really too interested in technicals, but the 200 weekly moving average is a significant thing in the market, especially the S&P. So just look obviously the orange line here is this 200 moving average. So just look at the way it respects. It might break through slightly and then pull back. This was obviously a COVID move. We had another move down here and then a pop off this 200. Will we have the same thing here? I don't know, but that's really the only level I'm paying attention to is this 200, just to see if this will be enough of a support. Now, if we just actually take a look here and just draw a rectangle back, it does slightly line up here with previous structure, so it could be a valid level to look. So I'll be scalping the S&P down into this 200 moving average, and we will see how it goes. But like I said, so far this month, it has been free money if you are able to adapt quickly. You have a strategy to be able to adapt. If you don't, that's completely fine. Now, I just want to reiterate again, I've spoken about this a lot previously, but I'm not trying to shame people that are losing money or are break even, because it is difficult times. I'm completely, I'm completely in that basket. I do totally understand. But if you use the S&P as an index or as a benchmark index, like many traders do, the S&P, yes, it's an investment vehicle, but it's also what we call a benchmark. So what we often have is traders will match their results, pair their results with the S&P and say, okay, I underperformed or overperformed. So as long as you're not down around 16% on your portfolio, you've outperformed the S&P. You're doing quite well. Obviously, if you break even, you're doing very well. If you are making money, you're doing very, very well. So again, I'm not trying to make this video to shame you if you're not making money. I'm just trying to say, if you are able to adapt, you should do so. Don't be sat here at this point now saying, okay, I'm going to buy this dip, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to buy here, I'm going to buy there, because you are going to lose. These markets are very volatile, and when the S&P moves down, it moves down very aggressively, and it will not be kind to people that are against it. So again, I just want to say this is not financial advice. This is my view. This is what I'm doing in the markets. So I will be looking to continue shorting, maybe look for a short-term reversal or a little pullback on like the 15 half an hour time frame. That's it. I'm not sitting here on the daily or the H4 saying, oh, I want this fib pullback, or I want to see this, I want to see that. The market doesn't care at this point. It's going down, and it's going down heavy. So guys, that is pretty much it. I just wanted to quickly speak on this again, because I know there's a lot of talk going on. There's lots of people, again, losing money. There are some people making money. There's people that break even. I just wanted to add my 2 cents in. Again, I do see this, it's a scary time, especially for new traders that haven't seen this before, or if you're a new trader and you're just coming into the markets, you're probably going to be a bit lost and you're like, what the hell is going on? Obviously, this is all due to pretty much tariffs. I've already done a video on tariffs, so I'm not going to go into that too much. But yeah, there's a lot of fear in the market right now. However, the last thing I'm actually going to say, I think I've already said that, but the last thing I am going to say is, don't get too heavy into shorts. I know I've been saying I'm shorting, but I'm not. Again, I said at the start of the video, I'm not holding shorts. I'm just scalping. I'm just taking the next lower move. I'm not holding anything super long. I don't want to be exposed. As I said, I don't like to short the S&P. I don't like to short stocks. Now, we could take a contrarian view, because generally, another sort of rule of investing, especially long term, is you get greedy when everyone else is fearful, and vice versa. So when people are greedy, you get a bit fearful. Now, if we just look at the fear and greed index, we do have extreme fear. And here, if we look at the retail positioning, we can see that retail are actually majority long. So if we have a lot of fear in the markets, including retail traders, this might be a signal to maybe start considering longs. And again, I'm not saying the S&P is going to reverse here. I do not want to be the guy trying to predict where it's going. I will continue to go short until I have seen a reason otherwise. But yeah, again, it's something to keep in mind, is that contrarian thinking and just saying, okay, well, maybe it is worth putting some money in to the long side as a long-term vehicle. And again, it is something I'm doing, but I will also be doing it on an active CFD account at some point, but just not yet. Maybe if we can come down to this 200 moving average, I might put a very small long position on and just hold it and just let it run for as long as it needs to, and not really worry about it. And that's why it would obviously be low risk. But guys, that really is it. That's the end of the video. I know it's probably been a little bit all over the place, but I'm traveling away this weekend, so I had to make this quite quickly with very little thought beforehand. So guys, have a great one. I appreciate you all watching. Drop a like and subscribe. If you want to get my signals, follow my trades, you can do so for free for 7 days. There's a link in the description, or you can join our free Telegram, which is where I detail a lot of market drivers. I'll go through economics. There's also some free analysis in there and all sorts of stuff. So guys, I will see you later. Trade safe, don't get margin called, and have a great weekend.